Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and I just installed the transmission cooler on our 2021 Toyota Sequoia. I also did this on our 2021 Toyota Tundra. They're the same drivetrain, and from 2019 to 2021, Toyota took the transmission cooler off of the trucks. Now, I believe that this was just a cost-saving thing because I went to the dealership and I crawled under some of the newer Tundras, and it's back on there. Now, we went to Las Vegas, and it was a hot day, about 100 degrees out, so we expect for some temperatures to be hotter. But now that we can see the transmission temperatures through the mobile app, which I'll put a link in the description on how you can do that too, we saw just how hot our Toyota Sequoia was getting on the transmission without pulling a trailer. This is just driving down the interstate. So as you can see, we were 223 degrees at the pan and up to 240s at the converter. So transmission fluid has a breakdown over 200 degrees, and I'll show you that chart a little bit later in the video. But this is something that I felt was really important to do, is to add this cooler back on the way that I think it should have come with the factory as it did before 2019. And part of this process is changing out some of the fluid. I decided to drain the fluid as well out of the pan as part of the procedure so I could get more transmission fluid of the bad stuff out and the good stuff in. And it had of a dark color to it that had come out. And transmission fluid should be blood red. This has 36,000 miles on it, so it's not super high mileage. And you can just tell that this transmission fluid is definitely breaking down. And so a lot of people have reported not changing the fluid and not having problems towing with it, but you can see that it definitely needs a change. When I did the Tundra, it was more of a blood red because the Tundra only has 26,000 miles on it. But I think at least draining and filling the transmission fluid, which I'll have a video in the description for, is vital if you don't have the cooler. And if you're going to do any kind of towing, or just like in my case, driving around hot days, up hills, if you want that peace of mind that your transmission is a lot cooler and operating in the range that it should be, then check the video description and I'll show you how to install the entire cooler, all the lines, everything. It's a pretty simple process, and a lot of people debate it. And so for how easy it is to install, to me, it's a no-brainer just to put it on. If you go to the dealership, I went and saw this 2018, I believe it was. So this was the model right before mine. You can see this one's in pretty rough condition. And I was kind of upset that I have this beautiful one that's newer and nicer than that one, yet this older one had the transmission cooler on it. And so its transmission would, when mine has the same mileage as this one, would be in better shape if I didn't do something about it. So that's another reason why I added it, because I didn't like looking at other Tundras driving around that were older than mine when mine's a platinum highest version and it has low mileage, beautiful truck, and it doesn't have the essential transmission cooler like these older ones do. So here you can see those lines, and if you watch my install video, you'll know what all this is. That's the warmer right there, that big circular one. But there's the thermostat and the hard lines. If you look up in there, everything's there. So it was just a cost-cutting thing, in my opinion, that Toyota took them off as they developed the new body style, because the new body style has them on again. And so did this older model. So I think transmission coolers are essential and really should be part of any automatic transmission to keep those temperatures under 200. If you go up into the 200s a little bit during towing and whatnot, that's okay. But this cooler is a great idea, in my opinion. So here's an oil pan for the transmission on my Tundra, and here's the warmer. So if you look under on your 2019 to 2021 Tundra and see this, you might think, oh great, I actually have a cooler. But this is just a warmer that actually warms the fluid up. So if you remove that, behind it, what Toyota did was put an adapter plate in place of the thermostat. So this is a piece here that's simply just a spacer that takes the place of where the thermostat used to be. So here's what these two pieces look like side by side. The top one here is the new adapter plate, and as you can see, it looks very similar to the other piece. It's just missing the thermostat on the top. So it does have the two ports for the warmer. That's still on there. But if you look at this one here, the replacement part, it has that thermostat on the top. So if you look at this, you have your fluid that goes out to be cooled, and as it comes back, it goes back in. So very simple change. So what this means is as you're driving around town, this is no trailer attached to anything. You're over 200 degrees transmission temperature. And so you're 221 starting to get up there, being I'm not towing a trailer or anything, just driving around town, 220 degrees and even up to 223. So you compare that to after you put on the cooler that has the thermostat that should be keeping it around 180, 190, and it's doing its job perfectly. If you look at this, this is after driving the Tundra around with the cooler on, for all day, 90-degree weather, and we're in the 180s. Now, if you look at the engine temperature, it's usually around 200 degrees, and for the most part, manufacturers have kept the transmission about the same. So this is right where it should be with the transmission cooler. Now, here's some information about life expectancy according to temperature. So if you see the 175 to 195, that same engine temperature, you can get up to 100,000 miles out of your transmission fluid. And so that's what manufacturers were doing. Now, see what happens once you go above 215, that drops in half to 50,000 miles. Then at 235 degrees, which is where you're starting to see what this temperature is when you're towing some trailers and such without a cooler, you should only get 25,000 miles out of that fluid before changing it. Then it drastically drops again, almost in half, when you get to 255 degrees, which some people have reported towing trailers. The fluid's only good for 12,500 miles. At 275, if you get up into those really hot ranges, it drops down to 6,250 miles is the life expectancy of that transmission oil. After 295, 3,000 miles, can you imagine not even basically doing a camping trip and having to change the fluid? At 315 degrees, 1,600 miles. At 335, 800 miles. So you can see definitely over 300 is really bad territory. 355 degrees, 400 miles life expectancy. 375, 200 miles, and 395, 100. So this is why, at approximately 235 degrees, vital transmission fluid additives start to boil. This results in varnish buildup inside the transmission. At approximately 255 to 260 degrees Fahrenheit, the internal seals begin to harden, which causes both internal and external fluid leaks. Internal leaks equate to pressure loss, which cause slippage and a variety of shift problems. When the fluid temperature reaches 295, the fluid continues to break down at a rapid pace. At this point, the fluid no longer provides adequate lubrication, and the clutch plates burn up and slip badly. At the next 20-degree temperature increase at 315 degrees, the seals and clutches are completely fried, and the transmission is doomed for failure. So you can basically see how important that is to keep it within temperature. I am glad to see that the transmission pan itself has drain plugs. I'm undoing the overflow plug here as part of servicing the transmission. When you refill it, you basically get it to 99 degrees up to 111, and at that point, open the overflow plug, and that's how you know if the transmission is full or not. But the problem is as well, without doing a flush, it's hard to get all the transmission fluid out. You can drain what's in the pan, but there's still more up in the system in the torque converter and everything. So you do the process a few times over and over is the most gentle way to do it. But all in all, my Yukon didn't have a drain plug. You had to take the whole pan off. So I'm really happy to see that they at least make it serviceable. But this is something that you're going to want to do, especially if you have a 2019 to 2021 Tundra or Sequoia, and especially if you're doing a lot of towing or things that are hard on the vehicle. And yes, eventually taking the pan off and changing the filter in the transmission is a great idea. You want to continuously change this fluid out because, as you saw from those charts, the heat really breaks down that transmission fluid a lot sooner. Sadly, it seems that a lot of manufacturers are only looking at their warranty window. If it's going to make it 5 years, 60,000 miles, then that's all that has to last. So Tundras haven't had a lot of reported failures yet, so I think the transmission's robust enough that it's putting up with it, but that doesn't mean that it's the right thing. If you've paid attention lately, a lot of manufacturers are even trying to go to 10,000 mile oil change intervals, or things that there is a crowd that thinks that that's all okay and they don't see the immediate effect. But I definitely go the other way and continue to change at 3,000 to 4,000 miles with full synthetics. But anyway, you see people who think one way, and you have the others like me who think the other, and you can do whatever you want with your own vehicle. So check the video description. I'll show you where you can get these OBD2 readers that will tell you your transmission temperature, since that's not information that's shown to you on your instrument display, but the vehicle does know those numbers. And if it gets too hot, it will give you a warning, but it's very simple. It just plugs into the OBD2, then you download an app on your phone. And if you even happen to have Apple CarPlay, then it will come up on that screen, which is really cool to be able to be driving around. You can still listen to your music and do everything, but be able to watch your transmission temperatures as well as many of the other things that the car knows. So check the video description for that. I really like having that feature. It's a must if you're going to be towing. So what's funny to me is if you go look at some of the new Tundras, it's an option, but a lot of them will come with the transmission cooler. So if it's something that was unnecessary, why would they bring it back for the new model year? So to me, it really makes me believe that it was a cost-cutting only thing, and it's important enough that they're going to put it back on trucks again. So that's another reason why I wanted to add it. So if you look under here, you can see the transmission lines coming off here, and some models may not have it depending on how it's optioned out. So they might look at some that aren't going to do a lot of towing, that don't come with a tow package, and perhaps not put one on there. But if you follow the lines, they run the same place and bolt in the same places as the cooler. So here's one here. You can definitely see that thermostat right there. It looks a little different than the V8 models, but the lines are going right up there in the same place, following the same path, and going up to the cooler to be cooled. So why would it be put back on a model when they usually will try to cut costs when they're coming out with a new model to offset the higher prices that you always have to pay on new models? So to me, that was kind of a thought that it must be cost cutting only from 2019 to 2021 to put money into the new body style. If they did start to have some failures at the end of the body style, they probably figured that the test that they saw, most people will get by, and the Tundras have proven that. You haven't seen a lot of failures, but you have had people reporting 240 to 250, sometimes even up to 300-degree temperatures while towing. So part of my decision to add a transmission cooler was saying, if I was buying my Tundra new and it was an option to add a transmission cooler, would I do it? Absolutely. Next question, can you keep the transmission cool without one? You can do some things like put it in S4, so fourth gear, a 1-to-1 ratio does keep the transmission a little cooler when you're towing, but then your gas mileage gets worse. It's higher RPM, which is more engine wear. So you're kind of doing a little trade-off, and then the inconvenience of driving a lot slower. So it can be done, but it's still going to be too hot in my opinion. Next question, if it's so easy to put it on, why not just do it and not worry about it? It's really simply replacing it with a lot of Toyota parts, the thermostat, the lines, and then you just buy the cooler itself as what you hook up to, but there's really no programming that you have to do to the car's computer, nothing like that. It's very straightforward, and I have the full install video on how to do it. So it's really a no-brainer. Why worry about the controversy and worry about so many things when you can simply just put it back on? Another great reason, all the steps that I'm taking to do this process only help me in the future, so why not? I wanted to know the transmission temperatures anyway. So yes, you can just buy the reader and see that, but now if you see these numbers and know that they're not good for your car, why not just go all the way with it and put on the part that the car should have, in my opinion? And for me, it was kind of a double-edged sword because I have two of the same year vehicle that both need the cooler. But that was another reason, is I didn't want to be saying, well, I can tow a boat with my Tundra, not the Sequoia, so I wanted to do it to both. And for me, if I know something's good for one vehicle, I do it to all my vehicles. I also like making these install videos, so check the video description to see the video on how to put them on. As I do install videos on things and projects, one of my favorite things is when you can actually see a difference with what you did. You know, you put a new pair of wheels on the car, you can see those wheels. You put a transmission cooler, you can actually watch those temperatures come down. You put on a supercharger, you feel the difference in the power. So that was another reason why I wanted to do it. I also love driving with family up in the hills. Going up and down hills, I don't want to worry about transmission temperatures at all. If I decide to put a bigger set of wheels on it too, that's harder on the transmission, I want to make sure it can handle anything I'm going to throw at it in the future and keep the transmission temperatures cool. It's actually pretty painful to look down and see temperatures rising up so high, and without knowing it and seeing it, it's out of sight, out of mind. But now that I know about it, I for sure want it to be fixed. So that's why these are going on both the cars. Another reason is I didn't want to have worse performance than my previous vehicle. I really loved my Yukon and it towed like a champ. It just had lifter failure and all kinds of other problems. So check the video description on my videos fixing all that. But even towing a trailer up Baker grade, which is really hard on the vehicle, it kept the temperatures about normal to what I'm seeing around town without the transmission cooler with no trailer. So I definitely wanted to have the matched performance that I enjoyed with the Yukon. So I do want to put some links in the video description where people are talking about towing without the cooler, and they're going to do it long term because they've already gone so far with it. They're going to be using the techniques of keeping it in fourth gear and doing what they can to baby it. And I think that's great that they're contributing to the whole automotive world. As for me, I want to take care of my vehicles. I have two of the same year, 2021s. The Tundra I bought with 19,000 miles on it, the Sequoia with 11,000 miles on it. So I'm wanting to take care of these long term, and I really like making the install videos. So please watch those and see if it's something that you're interested in doing. It's really not that hard to add one. So again, in conclusion, if it's so easy to do this, if it's something that I would have wanted the vehicle to have, if I was filling out the options as buying it new and it was an option, I'd definitely check that box. If it can only help to keep the transmission cooler, then why not? So you're going to have a lot of controversy and see people say it's not necessary. I disagree with that. I think it's definitely doing something better for the vehicle. It's going to make sure that it lasts long term. And as a lot of these 2019 to 2021 Tundras get up into the really high mileage over the years, maybe we will see some failures more often with the transmissions. So thanks for watching. Please check the video description for other links to videos that I've made that are similar to this. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks, guys.